What if Lamine Yamal actually wins the World Cup?
Best player in the world? If he's not available, does it make a difference for Spain? Yes! Yes!
Football is not supposed to move this fast. Legends are built over decades. Messi needed almost 20 years to complete football. Cristiano Ronaldo never won the World Cup at all. Even Mbappé had to wait until 19 to shock the planet. But Lamine Yamal, he might conquer football before he even fully becomes an adult.
Spain, and obviously this will be Lamine Yamal's first World Cup.
And that's what makes this conversation feel genuinely terrifying. Because if Spain win the 2026 World Cup with Yamal as their best player, we are no longer talking about potential anymore. We're talking about football history being rewritten in real time.
If Spain is able to win in 2026, Yamal would instantly enter the Pelé-Mbappé World Cup canon. Instantly. And I know that sounds crazy to some of y'all, but think about what Mbappé did in 2018 when he was around the same age and had one of the best World Cup performances that we've ever seen. Yamal can do the exact same thing. Yeah. In the modern era, in 2026, he can do it. And if he does, he enters a very elite crop of players to have monumental, impactful performances at such a young age at the World Cup.
There's a pattern to how elite footballers develop, and it almost never changes. A teenager arrives with enormous hype. Then, reality slows them down hard. The physical demands catch up. Opponents work them out tactically. Confidence quietly collapses. Even the generational ones, the players we now consider legends, went through that painful middle chapter where the world started asking whether the hype was real. It's part of the process. It's supposed to be part of the process. Yamal hasn't done any of that. At Euro 2024, he was 16 years old, playing against some of the most experienced defenders in world football. And he didn't just survive, he dominated the entire tournament. 4 assists, 14 chances created.
He proved it at the summer in 2024 with Spain when honestly the Spanish national team was being rebuilt over the last couple of years prior to that summer, and Lamine Yamal gets the nod to start on that right wing and he goes off. He starts in every single game all the way to the final and features in every single game.
The youngest scorer in European Championship history. Those numbers came against opponents who had spent careers preparing for exactly this kind of pressure. Yamal handled it like someone who'd been there 100 times before. But the statistics missed the moment that actually changed everything. Spain versus France in the semi-final. Spain were losing. The atmosphere in Munich was brutal. Most teenagers in that position go quiet. They find a safe pass. They stay out of trouble. They let the senior players carry the weight. Yamal did the opposite. He kept demanding the ball in the most dangerous positions on the pitch. And when Adrien Rabiot gave him a yard of space, he punished it instantly. One touch inside, one shift onto his left foot, and the ball flew into the top corner.
And what a goal that was! Lamine Yamal, you're looking at the youngest ever scorer at the Euros.
Yeah, you just wonder now, how many of those kind of goals will we see in the near future by Lamine Yamal? I mean, what is this kid now doing the next couple of years? But it was an absolute beauty.
One of the greatest goals in European Championship history, scored by a 16-year-old who looked like he'd been waiting for that exact moment his whole life.
Lamine Yamal is that difference. At 16 years of age, he takes it into his own hands and scores one of the craziest goals I've seen all season.
That goal wasn't just skill, it was aura. From that night forward, the conversation permanently changed. He stopped being a player to watch and became a player you genuinely feared.
Thumbs up in this room, because what we saw today was the arrival of what's going to be a generational talent. He's been hinting at it, and already a lot of folks already are saying that, but I think today, showing up on a stage this big, a semi-final at the Euros, and being the man to tie the match up to then give Spain that momentum to get the victory.
Now, here's the counterpoint, and it matters. Football history is littered with teenagers who looked exactly like this before everything broke. Ronaldo Nazario at 17 was the most exciting player alive. Michael Owen at 18 looked like he'd dominate for a generation. Pedri and Gavi, players Yamal shares a dressing room with, both suffered serious injury setbacks from overuse. The body of an 18-year-old, no matter how gifted, is still an 18-year-old's body.
Pedri looked physically exhausted, like several years back.
There's
Remember?
a famous picture when he's in the Spain shirt, the white shirt. His face is the same color of his shirt, Pedri. He played 73 games in 11 months.
It's brutal.
Ridiculous.
I get it. They're young. I don't know, Troy, how you interpret this with the gross amount of football that you're subjecting a lot of these young players to.
That remains the one variable nobody can fully calculate. But then you look at what he did at Barcelona this season, and the concern doesn't disappear, it just becomes more complicated. 24 goals, 17 assists, over 40 direct goal contributions across all competitions. At 18 years old, carrying one of the largest football clubs on the planet, creatively and emotionally, week after week, against the best defensive setups in Europe.
When you look at what he's had to deal with already at such a young age, I go back to when we was talking around November. He nursing a groin injury, goes to the national team, pulls himself out, all of the debacle that goes to that, comes back, and has probably been arguably better, shows where he's mentally at. I think this Barcelona team will be great for the next 15 years because of this young man. And
dominant performances in Champions League knockout rounds, match-winning contributions when Barcelona needed them against elite teams who'd specifically prepared to stop him. Every time the stage got bigger, Yamal found another level.
Lamine Yamal wants to win, and Lamine Yamal will do whatever it takes to win. This guy attacks, this guy defends, this guy plays for Barcelona. And that, my friends, is how you create a monster. So congratulations to Barcelona fans for having a player that a lot of us world football fans wish we could have at our team.
What separates him from other wingers isn't pace alone or technique alone, it's the combination, the body feints that shift defenders before they've even decided to commit.
Week in, week out, he drops at least one defender. Just drops him. And he has the proof, he has the own confidence that he's like, oh, like, it doesn't matter who I play in La Liga or in Champions League, I at least destroy my defender one time.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's really no defender that can lock him down for 90 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost impossible.
The outside foot trivela passes that arrive at angles nobody sees coming. The football IQ that tells him exactly when to drive forward and when to lay it off. Most players develop one of those qualities to an exceptional level. Yamal already has all three simultaneously at 18.
First time in my life I saw someone, because I saw a lot of young, talented players, but first time in my life I saw that I have inside this, wow, who is it? Even that he was 16 years old, that was still like, come on, it's impossible to be so good, so, so clever also in this age.
That combination is genuinely rare in modern football at any age, and Spain have built the perfect structure around it. Luis de la Fuente quietly transformed this team from the sterile, possession-obsessed version of the past into something far more aggressive. Spain attack space now, they counter with purpose, and they transition at speed. When Yamal gets the ball in wide areas, defenders face an impossible choice. Double him and leave Nico Williams completely free on the opposite flank, or hold their shape and let Yamal operate in 1-versus-1 situations. He wins most of the time. Pedri destroys any attempt at high pressing with one clean line-breaking pass, which means Yamal receives the ball already facing forward with room to work. Spain aren't a one-man show, they're a complete machine, and that balance is exactly what makes tournament football realistic for them.
It's so unique. The forward line, they've got X factors, they've got runners, they've got 1v1s, they've got strikers, they've got trickmans, they've got set piece takers. I think this Spain squad are very, very, I wouldn't be surprised. Listen, there's a reason why they are still one of the favourites.
But here's where the counterpoint deepens. Barcelona lean heavily on him.
He's carrying a football club, not just any football club. Barcelona. Yeah. He's carrying it week in, week out. If they win, it's because of him. If they go through a competition, it's because of him.
Spain lean heavily on him. By the time the 2026 World Cup arrives, which is in a few weeks from now, Yamal will have accumulated a minute count, almost unprecedented for a player his age. Analysts already flagged it, commentators already raised it. That workload has ended promising careers before they reach their peak. So the question stops being whether Spain can win the World Cup and becomes something much bigger. What happens to football history if Spain actually wins it. Start with the timeline. Pelé won the World Cup at 17 in 1958 and became football royalty overnight, the name alone carrying the weight of everything the sport could be. Messi, widely considered the greatest to ever play, needed 19 more years after his first World Cup appearance to finally lift the trophy that completed his legacy. Cristiano Ronaldo, who spent 2 decades at the absolute peak of the game, never won it at all. Mbappé won it at 19 in Russia, but France in 2018 was Conte's team, Griezmann's team. Mbappé was the electric teenager who showed up and delivered, not the player the entire structure revolved around. Yamal winning at 18 is a different category entirely, because Spain already revolve around him now, not partially, not in moments, structurally. The system is built to feed him. The pressure is already on him.
The main man, he's the player that everyone's putting their hopes on at the World Cup this summer. He's the player that takes Spain from being, one of the contenders for the World Cup to being among the favourites to lift the trophy. That's how good he is.
He carries it without flinching. If Spain lift the trophy in 2026, nobody watching will describe it as a collective triumph with Yamal as the contributor. They'll describe it as his World Cup. That framing matters enormously. Then the Ballon d'Or conversation closes immediately. Combine a World Cup triumph with the Barcelona season he just delivered, and there isn't a realistic argument left for any other candidate. Football increasingly rewards narrative alongside numbers, and no narrative in the sport's history comes close to what that would represent. 18 years old, best player at the biggest club, best player at the biggest tournament, youngest Ballon d'Or winner in history. Almost certainly, the dominance would be total.
Lamine Yamal getting the Ballon d'Or. I think in terms of ability, if there was a Ballon d'Or, I would give it to Lamine. We say this every podcast.
But the implications run deeper than the individual awards. The Yamal era isn't a marketing phrase, it's a genuine recalibration of how football measures greatness. The sport has spent decades operating on the assumption that players reach their peak somewhere between 26 and 30. Scouts plan around it. Contracts are structured around it. Transfer fees are calculated around it. A World Cup winning 18-year-old who's arguably already the best player on the planet doesn't just break that model, he makes it look completely broken in hindsight. The rest of football already senses it. Watch how defenders approach him now compared to 12 months ago. There's a different hesitation in how they set their feet. Coaches dedicate 2 to 3 defenders on him at a time. Opposing fans in stadiums boo him before he touches the ball. Not out of disrespect, but because they know the danger is already there.
And Lamine is getting whistled and booed by opposition players already now for no reason other than the fact that he's really good. So the home fans know that Lamine Yamal is someone to pick out, and he has to deal with that. Okay, it's not the same level as pressure as going into a World Cup, but he has to deal with the level of hostility and scrutiny which comes with being one of the best players in the world.
Every Barcelona match carries emotional weight that didn't exist 2 seasons ago.
For Lamine Yamal, it is more important for Barcelona to be successful than for Lamine Yamal to be successful. And this, my friends, is how you create Ballon d'Or winners. This, my friends, is how you create longevity. This is how you create the best football player in the world.
Every Spain game feels like it's building towards something. Fans worldwide aren't just watching him play football, they're watching a historical window, open in real time. Not sure exactly when it closes.
I mean, he's a superstar. They'll come around once probably every 50 to 100 years, and he's just that good. And yeah, we should be looking at protecting him, but he probably wants to play as well. We talk about records all the time with Ronaldo and Messi. He probably wants to set records himself.
Now, one final counterpoint deserves honest acknowledgement. The injury risk is real. The workload concern is legitimate.
So Lamine Yamal, by the time he was 18 years old, before his 18th birthday, he played 130 professional matches. 71 of them came in just this past season. 18-year-old playing 71 matches is something we've never seen before.
History has damaged players far more carefully managed than Yamal has been, but there's a specific thing separating him from the cautionary examples, and it matters. He keeps evolving. Players who eventually break under early overuse tend to plateau. The game finds them. Then, the miles catch up. Yamal is physically stronger than he was at the Euros 2024, faster out of tight spaces, more composed inside the box. His passing range expanded this season, his defensive positioning improved. That rate of development at 18, under this level of load, is the part nobody has a real explanation for yet.
He's making the right decisions. I think we've seen that in his play. He's not shooting as much. He's trying to bring people in more. He's threading passes in more. He's not thinking, I'm the superstar. I need to beat 5 people and then shoot. He's playing for the team. So I think we've seen a level of maturity and development from Lamine Yamal, which is very encouraging from a Spanish perspective.
And that's the genuinely frightening detail. He's still only getting started. What if Spain wins it? What if Yamal dominates every stage of that tournament? What if an 18-year-old conquers football while most players his age are still searching for their first professional contract? We're not debating potential anymore. Football is actively deciding whether its next king arrived years ahead of schedule. Subscribe if you want more football stories told like this.